Hello and welcome to a special episode of Dad versus Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm Megan the daughter.
Megan, normally we talk about board games and that's what our audience expects from us
Yep.
when we do our reviews and such. But what are we actually going to review today?
We're going to review the brand new theme park, Universal's Epic Universe. This officially opened today as of time of filming this. We are very fortunate to get to do the last two preview days there. And we want to talk about it because it's really, really cool.
Yeah, and as you can see, I am wearing my Frankenstein Manor t-shirt.
Yep, and I've got the new Epic Universe Spirit jersey on.
Yep, so let's just get to it.
All right.
So let's break this down into a bunch of different chunks that's more manageable.
Yeah.
So first off, let's talk about our accommodations because this was the first time we actually stayed at a Universal Studios resort.
Yes, so we stayed at the Endless Summer, the Surfside. So there's two, Dockside and Surfside. So we were at Surfside. It was a 2-bedroom suite, I guess you would say. 1 bedroom, 2-bedroom suite. Yeah.
Mini fridge.
Cooler. Doesn't really keep your drinks cold.
That is true. But it was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It had a Starbucks in the lobby, which I utilized every morning. So that was important.
Had a little, grab and go?
Yeah, grab
place.
And go station. Yeah, we had breakfast there our last morning. But we were up very early.
Yeah, and Surfside, there's two. There's Surfside and Dockside. Surfside is actually the smaller, and the bus stops were right outside. And the bus service to Epic was pretty quick. I mean, we're talking less than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
probably.
Down the road. Yeah, we were up on the bus. We were like the very first bus out that morning. Because we wanted to... We're true rope droppers for theme parks, so we definitely wanted to be there as early as we could. Yeah, we were at Epic very early in the morning.
Well, there were a lot of people there already, though, too.
But they had to open the gates to let us in up to security, so we could kind of hang out there. But yeah.
The hotel was nice. And one of the other advantages of staying there was you got to have early entry.
Yes.
So you got to get into the rides an hour before the general public. You just had to show your room card to prove that you were staying at the resort. Next up, we've got different portals, and that's how Epic Universe is divided. You've got 5 portals. So, Megan, you want to tell them what the portals are?
So, the first thing you do when you walk in is you go under the Chronos, and the gods have figured out how to capture ways to travel to these different worlds through these portals. And on the day that you are visiting, no other day, only the day that you're visiting, all of the portals and the Chronos have aligned to let you go out and explore all the land. So that's a little bit like the backstory of the land. But you have Celestial Park, which is the first one that you kind of go into. That is your hub of the theme park. And then you kind of split off into the 4 others. So you go Super Nintendo World, Dark Universe, then you have the Helios Grand Hotel in the middle, which is really nice. We didn't stay there though, but very cool to look at. And then you have the Harry Potter portal, and then Isle of Berk, How to Train Your Dragons.
Yeah. And all of which are really cool.
Yeah.
And they each have their own feel. I mean, when you go through the portal...
It's their own unique portal.
You do feel like you are only in that world, which is kind of...
The sight lines really help. Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that they kind of block everything else out.
Yeah.
I think the neatest one, as soon as you enter through the portal, is Isle of Berk, which really surprised me.
Well, I know, because you've never seen How to Train Your Dragon. I have before. I think it's a really cute film. But yeah, it has the most expansive view, I think, right when you come through the portal. You have the plaque, it basically says, hey, this is Berk. We have dragons. You turn that corner, and it's just all out in front of you. And it's huge. Like, Universal did not skimp on any of the scale for any of these lands. Everything is, larger than life. Feels like you've really been transported in there. It's really cool. Yeah,
that's an excellent point, is the scale is 1-to-1. Really.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, when you go through Super Nintendo World, you do have the escalator that takes you through the warp pipe, and then you kind of walk out of Peach's castle, and you can see it all. But, I mean, you have to walk a little bit. Like, Isle of Berk, you turn the corner, boom, it's there, which is really cool. Not to say the others two aren't as cool either. I know Harry Potter, you actually end up in France, because it ties in with the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie series.
And is it specifically Paris? Or is it just some
so it's I forget exactly, and I'm gonna butcher. It's like Place, something. I don't speak French. But it is basically the Parisian Diagon Alley. So you have your wand shop, you have your, Madame Malkin's had a shop in there. You have like other shops where
chocolate shop.
Yeah, Caramel was the chocolatier there. Get it? Caramel. Yeah. So I mean, it has that type of feel to it. There was a Quidditch supply store right when you walk in.
I did see that.
It wasn't open, but it was very cool to look at. And it was a tall building. I mean,
all
of it is huge. And that was really cool. But I mean, yeah, Dark Universe is like, obviously it was our favorite. Spoilers for that bit a little.
Yeah, but it's actually the smallest area.
It is the smallest, but it's kind of cool because like you walk in, we walked in earlier, they had like some of the fog and the mist going on. When you walked in, you kind of travel through this little town and it's like all, dark and mysterious. And it's so cool.
It really gave me vibes from Van Helsing, which I know you haven't seen yet. But they had this big well in the middle and you had all this mist rising up from that.
Yeah.
Then of course you had Frankenstein Manor.
That's your key,
which is just awesome. I can't really I can't put that into words how cool that was.
And everything within Frankenstein Manor, really translates into the rest of the world because you see all of the electricity pulsing into the manor, and throughout the land, you'll see and like kind of hear like the electricity pulsing because it's Victoria doing her experiments inside, and it all leads back to the manor. It's really cool.
Yeah, and every so often, as you're standing outside of the manor, you'll see the very top where all the cables and things are at, and you'll hear it as kind of get an energy build up.
Cackle and all, the electricity.
It's really cool. But they have just the theming is just really cool.
It's
in
awesome.
fact, one thing we didn't notice until the second day was for the stroller parking. They show, like a pram, but then it shows like a
little baby claw coming out.
Yeah, that was really
well. I mean, even the
cool.
bathroom signs. I don't know. Did you take pictures of those? Like the women's is the bride of Frankenstein, and the man's is Frank.
Yes, I did notice that.
But spoiler alert: the bathrooms are okay. First of all, the bathrooms are amazing all across the park. I know it's like a weird thing to review on, but like sometimes at Disney, like the bathrooms are kind of like, okay, they're a little outdated and old. Sometimes not the cleanest. The bathrooms in Dark Universe were the coolest because they had black toilets
and black urinals.
Like they went all out. Like, and then I was kind of complaining. I was like, oh, like when you went to like Nintendo, like it should have been a warp pipe, like to go to the bathroom in. Like I was kind of expecting that. Did you go to the bathroom in Paris? They were all like the old toilets where like you pull the chain, like looking design up in there.
Oh, maybe I did.
Like the water tanks up above.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like I noticed that. And it was cool because, and they pull the thing and they like go through the ministry like and all that way.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you don't have to travel through a toilet to get to the ministry. But like the toilets are cool. Like why would you even think about theming a toilet? Like I thought that was cool. That attention to detail. And then in Burke, I noticed the sinks looked like dragon eggs. They had scales in the sinks.
I guess I didn't even notice that.
I thought that was cool. There was mosaics in the bathroom for Isle of Burke. Like dragon mosaics and all. It was cool.
All right.
I don't know. Just random bathroom review.
So let's talk about each of the lands. And we'll start with the right. We'll start with Isle of Burke.
Okay.
So Isle of Burke has it's mainly got this huge area of water
cool.
in the middle.
And it looks like Burke. If you've seen the opening shot of the movie, I mean it's awesome how they replicated it. It's very cool.
Yeah, and there are 3 rides.
3 rides.
So there is a roller coaster, which we did twice. And
Loved the roller coaster.
And that was Hiccups.
Hiccups Wing Gliders. I'm pulling up the app to get the names correct as we speak. But yeah, and also to check wait times because I'm curious. But yeah, there are 3 rides, and I want to get them all correct. So yes, it was Hiccups Wing Gliders, which is a family style coaster, but it's not like for littles. I mean, it got intense.
Yeah,
it whips you around a lot.
It got some speed to it.
It's very fun. I really enjoyed that one. No inversions, no. So, family coaster.
A lot of banking, but very, very fast.
It's a very fun coaster. Then we did Dragon Racers Rally, which is like you're on an axis, kind of. And the
That's
dragon,
what that was called?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, see, like that was the name seemed weird because you would have thought that would have been Wing Gliders.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've kind of flipped the names. But there is dragon racing in the second movie, so that's kind of why they threw that in.
But yeah, that's one where everybody kind of has their own seat. and you can control the wings, and you can
barrel roll.
You can do flips and stuff.
I did not want to roll, and I started to tilt at one point, and I was like gripping the thing because I did not want to flip, because I saw someone kind of flipped and got stuck when we were waiting to get on. I was like, I don't want to do that. And then the other ride, which we did not do, was Fire Drill. It is a water shooter kind of raft ride.
Spectators can even shoot.
It was very hot. It was worth going on because it was like 100 degrees. So like
cool.
nice,
it was 95.
A nice, cool, refreshing ride. We did not want to be wet the rest of the day though.
No.
So we opted out. But it was very fun to watch and see people, shoot each other with water.
Yeah, there was also a show that you could go see.
That was so cool.
What was the name of the show?
The Untrainable Dragon.
Yes.
I really liked that show.
Which it was pretty cool. You had guys that were beating on drums. You had a huge dragon that would fly around that was
Toothless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Toothless came out and Hiccup was riding him, and the production quality of the show was really cool. That was something I was like nosy at as a theater person. I was like, where did Hiccup come from? Like I was looking through like all the different things and stuff. But it was full of dragon puppets, which were really well done. Big huge ones. Dragon puppets. That one that came out was really cool. Baby dragons. It was very cute. It was a very nice show, about 20 minutes in AC, dark, cool room. Very nice on a hot day.
Yeah. So, continuing around, so the next land, I guess you would call it, was the Harry Potter section.
Yes.
Does it actually have a name?
It's just
Or is it just Harry Potter?
They're calling it the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, which is only one part of the land because the rest of it is Paris.
And that's the only ride that is
Why it's called that, I don't know. But they are planning on expanding, there are talks at least planning on expanding this land because there is plenty of land behind it. So maybe that will be kind of where we get more stuff. But it is the only ride in the land. And it's not going to make you as sick as the other two Harry Potter rides in Universal.
No. And the premise is you're there for Dolores Umbridge's trial because she stole a bunch of time turners and was doing bad things.
Well, she didn't. She stole the time turner to get out of her trial.
Oh.
She's on trial for all of her crimes that she's committed while she was teaching in Hogwarts.
Okay.
And everything, so you missed that part of the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So she got a hold of a time turner so she can avoid her trial and try to go back and make things, so she doesn't get caught.
Now, I gotta say that this is one of the most impressive queues that I've ever seen. You enter in through like the subway. Yeah, you come in through
the Metro Flu.
And then you have... How many stories was that interior of the ministry?
It just kept going.
It was
incredible.
I could not believe how big it was.
You were dropped into the movie 100%.
But then
it's amazing.
You work your way through the various areas of the ministry, and I will say that it is very dark.
It's very cool.
And it is very cool, which is great when it was 95 degrees outside.
Yeah, so we
and we spent a lot of time there.
Well, in the queue alone, yes. So we rope dropped it, early entry. The ride didn't officially open until 9. That was not one of the lands that officially opened, but they said, hey, we'll let you wait in our queue, so you're all ready to go at 9.
And they are still having issues. Now,
yes.
This was considered a rehearsal.
Technical rehearsal.
So we were expecting that there are still issues that they have to work out. I've heard that there are... sensor issues that are on the ride, which is causing it to go down.
If you cross your legs while you're on the ride, it somehow thinks you have gotten up out of your seat and it will shut the ride down.
Or if your back comes off.
Your back isn't fully against it. You're not
quite a bit
firmly positioned. Yeah, so I don't really get that. But it's a very technical attraction. Very cool though.
Yes, the Death Eaters are the neatest part of that.
So without spoiling, too much of the ride, I mean, you can obviously go on the rest of YouTube and find ride videos, but the Death Eaters were amazing. And I knew that's an animatronic when you go through it. I thought it was a real person.
It's so smooth.
So smooth. They were right in front, and I was like, that's got to be an actor that just is paid to do this all day.
But it's not.
And it's not. Yeah. And it was so cool. Imelda Stroughton did come back and reprise her role as Dolores. But
and so did Shacklebolt did
I don't
too.
think he officially did.
That wasn't him, you don't think? Or you think that was AI?
The only character they said came back was Imelda.
Okay.
So the Golden Trio, I was either scrapped lines from something else or some AI generated or some people that sound really close to them. It was not them. But Still a very cool attraction, though.
Yeah, it is.
It was incredible.
Is it worth a 5-hour wait?
No.
No.
So right now, it's 180 minutes, and it is 6:30 in Florida.
And part of that problem is the technical issues that they're having. I do trust that they're going to get that worked out.
Yes.
So don't let that be, dissuade you from riding it or experiencing it, because even if you just walk through the queue, it's just awesome looking.
Well, I mean, in comparison, when Rise of the Resistance opened at Studios, it had a lot of technical issues. It would go down a lot. Even the first time we were there, it went down and we were delayed and didn't know if we could get on. So it is going to happen with, how technical these attractions are going to get. But yeah, I mean, if you're a diehard Harry Potter fan, do it. Even if you're not, maybe don't wait the 5 hours, but wait when it's more manageable and do it. Yeah, there was a single rider line. I don't know how quickly that was going, because when we were going to go back and do single rider, the ride delayed again. So we're like, okay, well, we won't do that. But it is very cool. It is kind of a slower load and unload, so I think that does add to some of the time for the ride vehicles. But
they hold like 12.
Yeah, and there's a couple different like loading areas too, so they're moving.
Right, they do it on both sides. And if you're familiar with like Tower of Terror,
similar car
at Disney Hollywood Studios, it's very similar setup.
You're not dropping, so don't think that it's not a drop ride. You'll feel like you are, but you're not like plummeting.
Yeah, it's not like that at all.
No, but it's really cool.
There is also a show there. Again, I don't remember the name of the show.
It is,
but it is
Cirque Arcanu.
Oh yes,
yes,
right.
Le Cirque Arcanu.
And it is a show
it's a circus show with magical
puppets,
creatures.
There's a lot of special effects that are going on there. That I'm like, cool. How did they do that?
I was like nudging you, like what is happening? Like, I thought it was really cool how they do a lot of the production.
And it's actually a very cool show, and it is aligned with Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, so that is kind of where the early part of Fantastic Beasts comes in. So it's really taking place in the second movie. The circus master finds Newt Scamander's trunk full of all these creatures. He wants to incorporate it into his circus. That is all the spoils I will give you, because we were not spoiled before going into it. We didn't really know what it was. Because it is a really cool show. I think it's impressive if you are a fan of the creatures. I think it's really cool to see that. Is it worth a really long wait? No, there are a couple shows throughout the day.
Through the day.
Yeah,
that does have a partial outdoor queue and an indoor queue.
It's covered. It's a shaded queue, but it is still hot if you're waiting outside. We only had to wait outside in the queue for a little bit before we moved in to like the first like pre-show room before the show. Again, about a 20-minute show, enclosed, inside, seating, air conditioning. So it is nice to get out of the heat with that.
Yes. And that is the only other show that there is in this park.
Yeah. So
we'll talk about that later. But yeah. So now let's cross over into the Celestial Park. Because it's kind of like you had said, it's the hub.
Of the spoken wheels. Yeah.
That has a couple of attractions. It's got a carousel, which is really cool to see at night.
Yeah.
And this is one of the coolest carousels I've ever seen.
Constellation carousel.
Because the ride vehicles that you're sitting on, it's not just like a horse. It's, all these
mythical creatures.
All these, but there are, so if a parent wanted to ride with a child, they actually have like a smaller seat and then a larger seat so that the parent and the child can ride together. That was really cool. Which was neat.
They even had that on like the accessible vehicles too, where you can have like 2 adults, or if you don't want to be on the little horse, like, standard ride, there's a little seat even for them to sit on.
And that's one, I heard somebody say that during the day, it's like a 5-minute way to walk
Which
on.
It was, yeah.
And at night, it gets crazy because it's all lit up and it looks so cool. So if you're going to ride it, you might want to ride it during the day, and then, you might want to prioritize that at night, because that is one of the things about this park is
it's beautiful.
I think it is set up to be viewed at night in all of its glory, because there's so many lights and such.
Yeah.
So
and it's
really
all
cool.
based on the stars.
Yes.
So I think the whole celestial element really comes through at night when it gets dark.
Yes.
But it's not your normal carousel. If you're thinking, why are we getting all hyped up about your regular pony carousel? It's not, because there's multiple turntables that your vehicle is on.
Yeah, so you're going
so they're all kind of spinning, and you're going up really high actually on some of them. But yeah, it's not just like your regular.
And the spinning
carousel.
is not intense. So
no, it's a very it's still family friendly carousel, but it's really cool.
Yeah. The other attraction that they have there
Stardust Racers.
Can I show your reactionary video?
Yeah.
Megan really wanted to go on this ride.
I really did.
And I'm not really a big roller coaster fan, but I'm the good dad, so I went with it.
I thought it would be really fun. It looks cool.
It's cool. It's fast. It's high.
It's high.
It has one inversion, which you're in and out of so fast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're going in different ways on the inversion. Because some people are going up normally, other people are going up upside down through the inversion and all. And yeah.
Check this video out.
Tape.
Megan and I just rode that. We could not believe how much airtime we got at the top of those hills. And there's a lot. There's only one inversion, but it was pretty intense.
It's not a good ride. I had my eyes closed for a lot of it.
Megan wanted to ride this.
I did.
She wanted to ride both sides.
No, I'm good. I did yellow. We're good. I didn't like it.
To the sides?
I don't.
The track's a little different.
One goes like upside down when you're going over. One goes upside down when you're going under. So like they alternate.
Yeah, we were yellow, and it was.
As it boosts you, then it boosts you again as you're going, and it's scary. Yeah, because you go and then you go again. I didn't care for it. I'm good.
Yeah, look at that. You got a lot of airtime up there.
It's so much airtime. And it's just a lap bar.
No, it's a shoulder
You're
harness.
kind of in there though.
Yeah, I don't think I would have done it if it was just lap bar. You do have a shoulder harness that comes down, but that's it. That's the only thing.
I liked Hiccup. Hiccup's coaster so much better.
You like the Train Your Dragon?
That one was so much better than this one.
Yeah. I think Megan was screaming a little bit on this one.
I stopped screaming.
A lot of airtime.
Might have said a couple words. So it is a really cool coaster.
I actually enjoyed it. We rode
scared.
We rode the
We did
yellow
yellow,
side, and
which
there's a green side because it's a racing coaster.
They said yellow was less intense. Yeah.
Did we even mention the name of this?
Yeah, I did. Stardust Racers. Yeah. It is a very cool coaster. It looks cool at night. The back of the ride vehicle is powered by a little flux capacitor.
Yeah, it is.
Which I think
literally
is really
it is.
Cool.
Flux capacitor.
Yeah, so that's like a fun little thing.
What's the current wait time for that?
Right now it's a 15-minute wait.
Yeah.
Because everyone, literally all these wait times are walk-ons other than Harry Potter. Because everyone's in line for Harry Potter.
When we rode it, we actually had to wait about 20 minutes because they
had to add more cars.
They included other cars and they had to cycle and test those out.
Which is fine. But as I'm standing there, I'm like, why am I getting on?
And it's an all outdoor queue, so when it's
we
hot,
were covered,
it's going to be
and
hot.
it was fine. It's one of the rides that you need to go through a metal detector on. They don't want you to take anything, like even in your pockets.
Yeah, don't even try to have your
because
phone
they
or
will
anything.
send you right back down and have you put it away. But no, if you're a thrill junkie, if you're into roller coasters, I'm sure you will like it. I like a good roller coaster. I didn't like how much airtime I got.
We got a ton.
How
of airtime.
often my butt was not touching the seat, and your seat is higher than, so your feet don't touch the ground either. So I felt very weightless a lot of times, and I did not like that.
Which is what they were going for.
100%. Very well achieved. I wanted off by the time we got to the second boost, and I was like, I'm done with this
It
ride.
was probably the most intense roller coaster I think I've done.
It was very cool.
I mean, Rock and Roller Coaster has 3 inversions. But you're in and out.
That whole ride is like less
it's
than
80
a minute.
seconds.
Yeah.
And this one is probably a couple minutes.
It's longer. But
Longer,
no,
higher, faster.
I shut my eyes off at one point. I was like, I don't want to see this. I just went off.
But that was cool.
But no, I mean, very cool ride. So if you're a coaster person, you'll love it. But yeah.
All right. So now we're going to actually move over to Super Nintendo World.
Yeah.
Megan, what are we going to go do?
We're going to play Mario Kart.
Here we go.
So that's like at the front of the park here.
So it's as you're going into the park, if you go to the right, the first thing you hit is Isle of Berk. If you go to the left, the first thing you hit is the Nintendo World.
Yep.
That, I think you had said we take an escalator up. It's in like the green tube. You hear the sound effects.
Womp, womp, womp.
And you come out of Peach's castle.
Yes.
And you see like all the different mountains. You see the turtles and all the things. Everything
the
is there.
Goombas, the cow blocks and all.
And you can spend what is it, $50 to get a band?
It was about $45 to get the power-up band.
And it's interactive. I don't know that I would think that would be worth the money.
I think if you had kids and you had smaller children that cannot ride some of the other rides, or they're very into this IP, I think it is a cool, fun way to have them interact with the land. the land has so much going on. There's so many little moving pieces about it. And then with the power band, you can go around and do all these different games. If you get so many, I think, coins, then you're able to do Bowser's Challenge, which takes you into a different room where you can kind of play like the boss battle game. But I mean, there's so much to do. Just go around and hit different power-up cubes and get things. Yeah. So it's cool if you're into that. I think if we were spending more time there, if the band wasn't so expensive, I mean, if you're a local or an annual pass holder, I think it's a great thing to get. And the band is really cool. It's not like your Magic Band at Disney. It's like a slap bracelet with the little power-up disc on it.
And it's about the size like mine.
Yeah, it's about the size of that. So it's not like anything massive you're going to wear. But it is like one of the things they tell you to take off in rides, which I've heard people telling when you're putting stuff in lockers. They're like, don't think about wearing it, because if you lose it on the ride, they're not responsible for that. So put it away.
So this world has 3 attractions.
Yes.
One is the Donkey Kong Minecart
Madness,
which we were not able to ride. It was down the first day we were there, and it had long waits the second day. So
and it was an all outdoor queue.
And so we're gonna save that for our next visit.
Yeah.
The next one is Yoshi's Adventure, which is one of the only rides in there that is suitable for
family ride.
Littles.
Yeah. It is slow moving.
Very slow moving. The only thing you're trying to do is find 3 colored eggs on there. It is not worth the wait.
We waited 30.
Too long.
Yeah. It's a 5-minute wait right now, which is the wait time you should wait.
Yes.
It literally goes in a circle.
It is not exciting. It is.
No.
The theming is good.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
The only cool there's 2 cool things actually I'll say about it. It has Baby Peach. It is the only Baby Peach representation in this whole world, and I always play Baby Peach when we play Mario Kart. So I was very happy to see her in her little glory with her bubble gum and just hanging out up there on a Yoshi. Number 2, you hear the music from the Dry Dry Desert.
Okay.
When you're on the little ride. I enjoyed that. I think Dry Dry Desert has cool music.
Yeah.
But no, it literally takes you through a circle. You see part of Nintendo World, which is cool if you want some different views of it. You can kind of look out and see. But yeah, it's a short little ride.
Yeah.
That's it.
The main ride.
Yeah.
Is actually really cool.
So Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, right now it has a 10-minute wait.
Yes.
It was delayed a lot when we were there.
But we did get a chance to
go on it.
This is kind of a unique one. You're going to get a little headband thing. Or
it's a Mario hat.
And then when you get into the ride vehicle, which holds 4, it looks like Mario's cart. You've got 2 in the front and then 2 kind of sit a little higher.
In the back.
It snaps on to basically your hat.
And that
gives you a VR type of experience as you're going around, or basically you have no control over where the car is going, but
you control your own.
It will actually have you turn a wheel when it wants you to go certain directions, but you are going to see all sorts of things that you would see in Mario Kart. You're going to be able to fire shells at the bad guys. You don't want to hit the good guys.
No.
And you're going to score points based on that.
You can pick up the item boxes. You can go through those. You get star power. When you hit Rainbow Road, you got star power.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's cool. It takes you through a bunch of different worlds, and if you don't have the glasses on, or if you're not looking at, like, the VR, it looks kind of weird. Like, you're just driving through the worlds that are, I mean, huge, larger-than-life sets in there. But the VR element is actually really what makes this ride cool.
Yeah, and the queue is actually really cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like is there are a lot of stairs in that queue.
There's a lot of stairs in Nintendo World alone.
That's
a whole other thing.
Throughout the whole park, and we'll talk about that later.
Specifically in Nintendo, I think they have the most stairs altogether.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to what was undoubtedly my favorite part of Epic, and this was one that when I first started seeing the commercials for it, with all the concept art and things. Yeah, this is what I wanted, and that is Dark Universe. So cool. This is the classic monsters, but it's not set in the olden times that you would think, like when where the movies are part. Basically, the storyline for Monsters Unchained, because there's 2 attractions.
Yes.
Monsters Unchained, and then there's the Curse of the Werewolf. Curse of the Werewolf was not running. It's not really a roller coaster. It's you kind of have like a roller coaster type track, but you also kind of spin in a car.
It's like,
but it was down, so we didn't get a chance to see that.
They said the spinning is very similar to Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. So the Guardians of the Galaxy ride there. But it is on like a coaster track, but it's all outside so you can see everything. But yes.
Monsters Unchained was what we were really looking forward to. And this, I think, is Universal's answer to Rise of the Resistance over at Disney Hollywood Studios.
It's pretty cool.
Unfortunately, it's not as long or quite as immersive as that is, but it's close.
It's still cool.
Think of the ride vehicle on Harry Potter Forbidden Journey over at Islands of Adventure at Universal. Yes. You are going to be basically sitting on top of an arm, a robotic arm. Yeah, and you're going to have 4 seats on there. And so you're going to be able to move all sorts of ways. And in the pre-show, Igor talks about how it moves. And it goes like this, all over the place. It does not do that in the ride.
He loses control of that because that's where Dracula intervenes. Yeah. So he is controlling it very smoothly to get you through the catacombs and show you off. When it starts to go haywire, it shows you doing your own little thrill ride. Yeah, it is not like that. It is such a smooth attraction. You
low intensity.
Really should not get sick on this like you would on Harry Potter.
Now, this might scare younger children because there are
monsters.
There are monsters, and there are some kind of graphic scenes in this.
But the whole premise of this ride is Victoria Frankenstein. She's the great-great-granddaughter of Victor Frankenstein, and she's wanting to make her mark and tame the monsters.
Basically.
She got a little tip from Hiccup about how to train your dragon. So she's like, how to train your monsters. But yeah, so she has built her own Frankenstein, and in the catacombs where all the other monsters are, she's like, we're going to get them under control. It's all going to be okay.
Which it kind of does and she tells you in the pre-show is that, she is trying to basically gain control of Dracula.
Yes, he is the unchained monster here.
Yes. But you do see representation from all the classic monsters. You've got obviously Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Mummy, and Dracula, as well as his brides.
The Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, Phantom of the Opera,
which is kind of a surprise.
I forgot about that.
Hit in there, but he's in there. Which is
they called Henry a monster. They were afraid of what he had done. But you will see. There's nothing to fear. Show them. Lower the lights, quickly. Now. These people are friends. See? There's nothing to be afraid of. He is amazing. Better than the original. He is the key to our most exciting experiment. For years, I have studied and controlled the monsters that prowl the darkness. And only one remains. I will control my ultimate challenge. Count Dracula. Calm yourself! That wasn't us.
Silent creature, are you destroying who went down?
Just don't get along. The Dracula experiment is the last piece of the puzzle. And with your help, the world will never see the name Frankenstein the same again. Open the doors! Our greatest victory is just through there. Quickly, this will change your life.
But the queue for this attraction is amazing. You're going through the manor. You're going through the, where the library is at, or the sitting room.
Yeah, you see all of Victor's stuff, and it's really interesting too. And I picked up on this is you see the transition from Victor's experiments into Victoria's and kind of the more modern stuff. You go through one room, and it kind of has Blair Witch footage of finding different monsters out in the wild playing on a screen.
Now, there is, in that room where you see that, I do have to point out, over on the right-hand side is a window that looks out onto Darkmoor. Spend some time and look out that window, because you're going to see the burning blade, which is the windmill that catches fire. You're going to see that. You're going to see some other things. So don't skip out on that. Let some people, go by you in the queue while you take a look at that.
There are so many Easter eggs alone in this, and it's so immersive. And if you really want to spend time, and I imagine once this park is really fully open to all of the crowds. Like, the wait time in this will rise and you will spend more time in the queue. For us, it was like a walk on every time.
Yeah.
So you will have more time to enjoy the queue.
What's current wait? Because most of the time it was 15 to 20 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a walk on.
And it's so awesome.
It really is. Really cool.
We did it 4 times.
Yeah. We loved it.
Yeah, it was great. And in fact, it was my favorite ride of the whole park, and I just spoiled things, but so I think you didn't hear that.
No, but it's awesome. It's so cool. Yeah, I mean, littles are probably going to get scared of it. I was going to say it is a 48-inch height requirement, but there is child swap available. So if you do have some older kids in your party that want to ride and the littles might be scared, you drop them off, do the swap, and come back and do it again.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's so worth it.
So I said that was actually my favorite. That's I consider that to be the best ride in the park.
Yeah.
Now I also put for my list that I made the Mario Kart. I really like that. Cool. Ministry Magic, and then the Isle of Berk, the Hiccups coaster.
Yep.
Those I thought were those were the best.
I would concur. Yeah, I think I would place Ministry above Mario Kart, just because like walking in, I was just taken away by how impressive that was.
Yeah,
it's so cool, and I'm obviously a Harry Potter girly, so I thought that was awesome. But yeah, I mean, there really are no bad rides. There are just rides that are not for us. Yoshi's is not a bad ride. It is just not meant for grown adults who want to do something more fun.
Children. Yeah.
So it can be a fun ride for littles. For us, not so much. We'll skip it.
Yeah. All right. So now let's talk about the food.
Yeah.
Because I kind of felt that the food options were kind of limited.
This was something that a lot of people said too, not just us.
Now, we ate at both places in Darkmoor, over in Dark Universe, which was the Burning Blade, which you can go and you can get drinks, but you can also get a garlic steak, which is actually pretty good.
It was very yummy. It will keep Dracula away.
Yeah.
It's very garlicky.
And then there's Das Steakhouse, and it's spelled that way. Which the theming in this place was really cool.
Yeah.
It's very dark, and they have a lot of reds, which is intentional to have a tie to Dracula.
Well, and the red lights come on because that helps your eyes adjust, but also they said the red lights summon when the latest sacrifice had been made. So lots of people are dying in this. So yes, Dark Universe can be scary for littles because there is some graphic and morbid details present.
Now, I had a hamburger which was served on a black bun.
I had a chicken sandwich on a black bun.
Sandwich. And you said the chicken sandwich tasted like Chick-fil-A?
It straight up tasted like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Like, they could have gone in the back, grabbed Chick-fil-A, swapped the bun, and presented it to me, and I would have been like, yeah, Chick-fil-A. It was good, but it tasted like Chick-fil-A.
What did Mom have?
She had the steak.
Mm.
Yeah, so steak slices.
And it was okay.
Yeah, I mean...
There was nothing wrong with it.
It's an average meal.
But there is...
The theming was cool.
The theming was awesome.
That's what you're paying for.
And I'll talk about some of the issues I had with the food on that one. But the other places that we ate at Pizza Moon.
Yeah,
which
in Celestial Park.
Which, again, looked really cool.
It is cool.
But
we had purple pizza.
We had purple pizza, which had... I forgot what it all had on there. But I also had just like a pepperoni pizza, which was okay.
It was an average
for theme park
pepperoni
food.
Pizza. It was not
puffy
okay. Pizza, if you're familiar with that on Disney. It's not.
But it was nothing spectacular.
No.
It was just average.
We had, so it was the pizza lunar. So it was roasted garlic bechamel, fromage de lune, ricotta, pancetta, garlic confit, and purple celestial ube crust. It's just purple dye. It doesn't taste purple.
Yeah.
It's not like grape flavored pizza crust, but it was purple.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
And yeah.
Yeah.
There are some side effects to eating purple colored food and black buns. We'll let you figure that out on your own.
That's why there's black toilets.
Maybe. The only other place that we ate at, I should say you ate at, was over in the Harry Potter area. It was Cafe Serene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, let's talk about Cafe Serene first.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So again, it was hot. We wanted some place to cool off, and we wanted to eat somewhere in the Wizarding World. The other place was like another Hogshead, 3 broomsticks type situation with very heavy, traditional English meals, so fish and chips and kind of some stews and other things. So it's Cafe Siren, however you say it in French. It's a combination of French and French. So however you say that had more like traditional Parisian meals. They had the butterbeer crepes, which we did not get, but we did get another crepe with some berries on top and a absolutely delicious creme brulee. Oh my god.
I'm not a creme brulee fan.
So good.
Or
nothing else. Go in there, treat yourself to a little afternoon snack. Enjoy the AC. Get yourself a creme brulee because it was amazing. Yeah. So good.
And I don't know how I skipped over this other one.
Yeah.
Where
it was our best.
The best place that we ate at, we had dinner at, is called the Oak and Star Tavern, which also has the Plastered Owl bar in there. They're known for their barbecue.
So good.
Basically, if you have been to Whispering Canyon at Disney's Wilderness Lodge and have gotten the big skillet, the meat skillet.
Essentially what it was.
You had brisket, you had pulled pork, you had sausage, which was like a kielbasa.
Yeah,
there was some other
to pick
sides
4 of your proteins. Oh, we got chicken.
Oh yeah, we
got like a smoked chicken.
And then it comes with some type of soft bread.
It was a cornbread.
Well, we had
got
two
cornbread,
like
and then we got the cheddar biscuits.
Oh, okay.
And we got mac and cheese. We got the pulled pork, burnt end beans. What else did we get as a side? We got a couple other sides. I mean, amazing. It was so good.
It's a little on the pricey side.
It is pricier. So all of the food here is a little bit pricier.
I mean, it's normal theme park pricing for food.
But it was good.
It was very good.
So
like I said, that was the best food I think that we experienced at the park.
Absolutely. It was delicious. 10 out of 10. And we had some live entertainment while we were in there as well.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
We did Mad Libs.
Yeah, that was fun. It actually turned into a good song.
It was kind of weird.
It was funny. But yeah, very cool. Really all the food is good. It is elevated theme park food. Going along that though, I know this kind of spoils a little bit of what else we want to talk to. There isn't your traditional theme park food. So you're not going to find chicken strips, regular hamburger, cheeseburger, regular pizza per se, hot dogs, corn dogs. You're not going to find that. So this is kind of for an elevated palate. Even your kids' meals are kind of still a little bougie, I would say. So if you do have some picky eaters or some plain eaters, it might be hard. You found food.
Yeah, but I'm very picky. And
but
I'm very
it is
plain.
picky, and going along with that too, everything is kind of a mobile order through the app. So it takes away, even though they're considered like quick service restaurants, it's not like your quick service like you would experience in other theme parks. So you have to order through the app unless you kind of have like a dietary restriction and need to talk to someone to make, substitutes for your meal. If you want to edit, it's very limited on how you can edit. So with like your burger, for instance, you didn't want like the chutney and all the aioli and stuff on it. That
Mustard,
wasn't an option
pickles,
on the app.
No pickles.
So we had to go and speak to someone about that. The team member was helpful about it. But really, the customization is kind of hard. You kind of get it as is. Not to say like it's already pre-done waiting for you in the back. But they really don't want to make a lot of edits to what they're presenting. So that kind of is like a downside.
Yep.
But overall, I mean, the food was good. We didn't have a bad meal. Just, average food for the most part. Except the barbecue. Barbecue was good.
So the characters, Darkmoor at Dark Universe has, I think, the most.
They do.
So we actually met Frankenstein's monster and the bride in a photo op. You've got the Invisible Man who walks around and will talk to you and has a maniacal laugh.
He got annoyed that I asked for a picture. He's like, if you must. I'm like, well, you're here. Just say hi.
And then, of course, you have Igor, which Igor kind of roams around. He doesn't really stop for pictures. Yeah. So make sure you get your video camera rolling. But he is hilarious.
If you've been on TikTok, I mean, TikTok loves Igor, and I love Igor. He was one of the people I really wanted to meet. He is just the cool little lab assistant who's doing his best. He's got jokes. He's a fun guy to interact with. And
to find out when he's coming out, check with one of the handlers, usually over by the photo op. When you first come into Darkmoor, it'll be off to your left. Is where like Frankenstein's monster and the bride meet. Check with a team member there. And because they gave us a heads up that Igor comes out over by the Curse of the Werewolf. He's got a little cart over there. And then he'll roam over to the other spot. But we were the only ones that were there. So we kind of had some one-on-one time with him. That was really neat.
Yeah. But none of the characters in Darkmoor, Dark Universe have a set appearance time. So it is random whenever they will come out, especially Frankenstein and the Bride. They kind of have
Frankenstein's monster.
Yes, Frankenstein's monster and the bride. So they're kind of a more set time. They're secluded off by their own. They will meet. Normally the bride will always meet. The monster is kind of up in the air.
We got to see both.
Yeah, so it's not a guarantee which monster creature you will get with that meet and greet. But they are not in like the app on a times guide. The only characters that I ever saw that were on a times guide were the characters from Super Nintendo World. So if you want to meet Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, and now Donkey Kong, he was not meeting when we were there, but he is now. They do have a set time, so if you want to meet one of those, check the app. The only other like true meet and greet character is Toothless in Isle of Berk. So you can meet him, and it is not a guarantee which Viking will be with him. So it might be Hiccup, it might be Astrid, it might just be a generic.
Didn't they have the twins?
The twins roam.
Oh, okay.
So they're kind of roaming. I never personally saw them as we were going through. But it is not a guarantee that when you meet Toothless, you will meet Hiccup. So just keep that in mind. You still get to meet Toothless, which is cool.
So you, I think, got to see two different groups over in the Harry Potter area.
Yes.
They're the students.
Students. So you have a student from Hogwarts, you have a student from Beauxbaton and Ilvermorny, and Beauxbaton is your French Hogwarts.
I thought you said Bo-Katan.
Beauxbaton.
I was thinking Star Wars.
She's on the hunt for the Darksaber here. She's using any means she can get.
Could she find the Darksaber in Darkmoor?
Maybe. Who knows? And then Ilvermorny is the American Hogwarts. So you have 3 of those students at any time are kind of roaming through. They are working on a project together, trying to figure out, more about some of the magical creatures. So they're kind of fun to talk to. If you're into it, it's fun to, play along with them. I think it adds to the immersion of the land. It's just kind of fun to interact with them. If you have a wand, they're going to play with you a little bit more on that. If you have a wand, they do have some really cool magic spots around the land as well.
Yeah, kind of like that Super Nintendo band.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to get a second generation wand. Yeah.
Well, the second generation wands go with more of the dueling club aspect in the other 2 parks. They haven't brought it into this one, but they do have some really cool new wands from Cosmere, who is like their Ollivanders. She had some really pretty wands, but they were $65. Didn't really want to pay that for a bit of plastic with a chip in it at the moment, but there was a really pretty one I really wanted. I didn't get it. I had self-control. And there is a Auror from the Ministry of Magic who roams around too. So he might.
Yes, we did see him.
We did see him. We didn't interact with him.
No.
But he's kind of roaming around. He might ask you if you've seen any type of shady things going on, if you have permits for your wand. So it's kind of like your magic police. He's keeping an eye on things. And then Cosmere roams around too, the wand maker. But we did see like a band perform some magical creatures. So yeah, I mean, Universal alone does really well with live entertainment. I think they're a step above on that.
So they had live entertainment at our dinner spot.
Yeah,
they had live entertainment in Celestial Park.
Yeah,
and then
lots of bands.
In Darkmoor, Dark Universe, they had
a violin player.
And I saw one day they had a male one, and then they had a female. So and they're very talented.
And they do storytellers. They kind of recount some stories as they play and all. So it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the entertainment alone is really cool. But if you're into these worlds and you want to kind of immerse yourself more, play along. I mean, you're at a theme park. Don't be a stuck-up grown-up. Be a little kid and play pretend.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you're there.
It's more fun.
All right, so now let's get to the part that's kind of it's the negatives. Because I do feel like in a review, you have to call them out. And like I said, the delays and things like that, we knew we were at preview, so we know that not everything is perfect yet. But there are some things I think that do stand out that I hope that over time that they will address.
Yes.
Number 1, stairs.
There's so many stairs.
Stairs everywhere. Every attraction has stairs.
Yes.
If you are
an
ADA person and have a scooter or a wheelchair,
or just need accommodations,
they will help you. They have elevators so you can get around that.
They have transfer wheelchairs that are like the push chairs,
so
because the motorized ones are a little harder to get through. So they are accommodating. They have met every ADA requirement. It's just still not the most accessible for a lot of people.
And I'm not really sure that all those stairs are
necessary.
Yeah, they're not necessary. I think they do extend the queue areas because you can send people up there. And some of these stairs, I mean, like at Mario, when we went back to do the single rider, there was like 4 stories, 5 stories of stairs.
You went up it when you first got in the queue,
and then you came back down.
And then you go back down, but then you have to go back up it to like board. It was kind of weird. I know Hiccups had a couple. We had to go up and over. Like, I mean, you're mainly going over the boarding area of where you will get on the attraction. So it is kind of helping a little bit with the queue. But yeah, there's just so many stairs. Super Nintendo World is a 2-level world. So there are a lot of stairs. There's also plenty of elevators like in the corners of these worlds. But again, I mean, it kind of stinks that there's a lot of stairs.
Yeah, there is a lot.
You will get in your cardio that day. Do not worry.
Next thing is there is very little shade.
There is. Yeah.
Which it kind of goes with the theming, I think.
Well,
but you don't have a lot of areas where you can just go stand in the shade.
True. It is a new park. They have, brought in some trees, and it will get better with time as those trees grow and continue to provide shade. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is out in the open. There isn't a lot of shade. Like, I mean, Super Nintendo World, there's no greenery. It's all the fake
It's all
plants.
open. You will roast there.
It is very hot in that land. Same with Isle of Burke. It is very warm and toasty.
That's why they want you to get on that water ride.
100%. I mean, it works, and you can go to the show and have some shade. But yeah, it's very open. So have your sunblock. Please stay hydrated. Hydrate before you dehydrate. Which that I guess would be a little bit of a plus. There are plenty of places to refill your water bottles at.
Yes.
There are water fountains in the queues. There are some themed, even water dispensers. I saw like when we were in Harry Potter, it looked like a mermaid head on top of the water dispenser, kind of built in the wall. So I mean, they do add it to the theming. So they do want you to stay hydrated. Universal does have the refillable mugs with the Coca-Cola Freestyle. You don't need those just to go up to the machine and get ice water. So that is a nice thing.
But having those water bottle fill stations,
very nice.
You're going to get really cold water.
Yeah, it's cold. And it doesn't taste like Florida water.
Yeah.
It's nicely filtered.
And we already kind of mentioned this about the food, not being able to easily modify for those picky people like me.
Yeah.
So like the hamburger, when I got that at Steakhouse, I had asked basically to have everything off of there.
They left the aioli on yours.
They left that on there. They left the sauce, a very spicy sauce on yours. But they were very accommodating. The person that brought our food, I don't know his name, but
shout out to him though.
He was awesome. He went back and he got the sandwiches fixed the way they were supposed to be and brought them out. He always had a great attitude. I did see him on our way out, and I did thank him again. But yeah, and we'll talk more about the team members later. But that was really good that he had done that. But just keep in mind that if you're like me and you're picky, you may run into some issues there.
Yeah.
And then the last kind of big thing kind of goes with the no shade is there's very limited places to just kind of get out of the elements and just sit and relax other than the restaurants.
That's very true. And there's only 2 shows.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, that's only limited time that you can really be in there.
So I'm hoping that over time that maybe they add more shows. I mean, I would love to see something over in Darkmoor.
I think that would be cool.
At Dark Universe. So I think they've got area where they could go and expand out maybe.
Land back there.
But I would love to see some type of like maybe a retelling of Frankenstein, through some type of thing, have like a storyteller go through the classic monsters. I think that would be really neat.
There is some land back in there. They could. But yeah, I mean, it needs some improvement there.
But I think every area or every land needs to have something where you can get out and just kind of sit and chill, because they're not going to want you sitting in the restaurants all the time.
No, I think the best places for you to sit in the restaurants though are within like Celestial Park, like the Oaken Star Tavern, because you can kind of hang out in there and get a drink and kind of chill. How to Train Your Dragon, the 2 restaurants there, like the Mead Hall, and even like kind of the outdoor quick serve does have some shaded opportunities for you just to kind of go in and chill, or do like kind of what we did in Paris. We just said, hey, we want a snack and a little treat, so we got inside and sit there for like an hour just soaking up the AC. So nice. Yeah, I mean, there are opportunities for you to do so, but yeah, it is quite warm. So yeah.
So now let's talk about the positives. We've mentioned a lot of great things already.
Yes.
But some of the things I do want to emphasize is they have excellent theming. Every area is theme to the hilt.
Nothing is not without intentional purpose and detail.
Yes.
Even the little steaks on our steak dinner, you know, like at Das Steakhouse, were themed.
Yes.
It could have just been a little plastic thing. But it was themed in Latin, and it said, like, at our discretion. So, like, the monsters are letting you be here. Like, you don't need to have that. But it's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool attention to detail.
But yeah, and like I said, everything is really to scale.
It's awesome.
You know, being in the Ministry of Magic.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, just like I said, you look up and it's just,
it keeps going.
You know,
a lot of it is
floors.
the forced perspective that we know as theme park.
Yes, but
nerds.
it doesn't appear that way.
No.
It looks massive.
Well, even when you walked into Paris, I mean, just that whole.
Yes.
It looks like it just keeps going up and up.
Unlike walking down in the middle of Main Street, USA, where you do see
the
3 stories on the sides of the buildings, and you can tell that they're getting smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't experience that at all in
everything
in Paris.
felt real.
Yes,
it was very cool.
Real. That's very very apt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't talk there for a minute.
We're still tired from the trip.
Yeah, we did just get back. But no, that is very awesome.
It was very cool.
The other thing is every team member that we interacted with was
amazing.
Awesome. Now I don't know if that's just because it was previews and everybody was told to be on their best behavior or whatever. I didn't see anybody that was not, basically very
ready
pleasant.
To help with anything. You know, they did all that they could. They were just as frustrated as we are, you know, with some of the delays. But again, that's nothing they can control. But they're doing everything they can to, help relay that information, try to offer you, like substitutions of things that you can do in the meantime, not like being like, well, it's down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they can only tell you so much because they're not the mechanics fixing it, but
yeah, and
all of them are great. Please don't take it out on the team members.
Yes, it's
not their fault.
They don't know everything that's going on.
No.
And they're trying their best in order to accommodate you. So, thank them. They're doing a job.
Say good morning, hi.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
It doesn't cost anything to be polite.
No. I mean, in speaking of, as a former cast member at the other park for the Mouse, I mean, it goes a long way just to say thank you and, have a good day and everything. So, like, they're doing their best. They are overwhelmed with all of this new technology and all of these people swarming here. So, just be nice.
Yeah.
Wear your patient pants.
Exactly.
Because, things are going to break down. They can only do so much too. Thank your mechanics if you see them, because we did coming out of Harry Potter.
Because I'm just doing my job.
We're like, no, but thank you for getting the ride up so we can experience it. So, like, to them, yes, it's their job, but they're making so many memories for other people happen. So thank them for that.
Yeah. And we kind of mentioned this already, but the character interactions that we had,
they're so cool.
Every character interaction was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say enough about that. These people are out there in the heat, in full costume.
I mean, they're sweating too.
It's hot. And they're performing, and it's for your entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
If you do see them, interact with them.
Yeah, suspend your disbelief. That is not someone on the clock. That is a person in character doing their job. You're in that world.
And don't be a smart aleck about it.
No.
Be intentional. Be nice.
Yeah.
Now, if like the Invisible Man, if he wants to start insulting you and you want to
you.
get a little, back and forth, that's fine. Don't cross the line.
No.
But realize that's he's trying, or they are trying to give you an experience and entertain you.
Yeah, I mean those are the team members that may not be nice because they are in character. Yes. But again, I mean, they're there for you. They're creating magical memories for you, epic memories. Let me rephrase that. We're not at the Mouse.
Yes.
This was an epic memory for you. So it is very cool.
Yes. Now, one of the things that it's kind of both a positive and a negative was the merchandise. So if you are into Super Nintendo, you can find anything that you probably want. You've got Mario Kart apparel of
out the wazoo.
Yeah, t-shirts and hats and all of that.
If
you have all the different characters and stuff.
Chef Toad, he had his own line of stuff. I mean, again, no Baby Peach. That's my negative. Universal, make me some baby merchandise. But I mean, so many things for Nintendo characters, and I think a lot of that goes with the culture.
It could be
some of your, I want to say Pacific fans over that way. They really enjoy Nintendo.
Yes.
So I think that is why there is quite a lot of it there. If you're really into Harry Potter and, you know, the creatures and magic, there is a whole new Hogwarts line. There is a Ministry of Magic line. There's a whole line for the Flu Network, for the Metro Flu. So there's a lot of things for that. Isle of Berk, you can go get your own baby dragon. There's a bunch of stuff there.
But they didn't seem like they had as much merch there. And
they had, no, Nintendo stole the show on merchandise.
Yes, they had
100%.
the most. I was really disappointed that Dark Universe did not have more. They had this shirt. They had several others. They had individual monster shirts, so like you could get something with Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman. There was no mummy.
Nothing for the mummy.
You'd have to go over to the regular Universal to get that.
There was some merchandise specific for the Curse of the Werewolf ride at their cart in front of the ride. There are some, you know, tavern inspired pieces for the Burning Blade Tavern, but nothing really specific to Monsters Unchained other than really your shirt.
And I didn't see anything for Darkmoor as a whole either.
No, it was just kind of generic Universal Monsters.
That's something I fully expect that they're going to have as time goes by.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everybody wants to sell the merch. So that was the only place that I saw that they were lacking was a Dark Universe.
There was plenty of Epic Universe across. I actually found this one at the Epic store at the airport, though, because they did not have my size in the park. So during previews, and I even saw today during just the grand opening stuff online, that some of the stuff was already sold out. So I know that's something Universal kind of needs to get back up on, get some more quantities of things. But I mean, they had plenty of stuff if you're wanting just Epic merchandise in general, you could pick from too.
Yeah.
And their mascot, Captain Cacao, the little bear, he has his own line of merch. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's not going to be found too in every single store. The merch is really specific to each land. So think about that too. If you think you want a wand and maybe you want to think about it, the only kind of wands that you will see outside of that portal are your generic like character wands or just like nondescript wands. If you're wanting anything from like Cosmere, it has to be bought back in that shop. Yeah. So kind of consider some of those things when making purchases.
So overall, what would you say is your one thing that was your favorite?
I don't know. I think Monsters.
Mine's easy.
I mean, Monsters was awesome. So cool. I really do love the Ministry. I thought just being in the Ministry of Magic was awesome.
The Ministry of Magic and Monsters Unchained had the best queues I think I've ever seen.
They're just so immersive. It's so cool to get you in there. I mean, I really did enjoy Hiccup's Wing Gliders. I thought that was a fun ride. But yeah, I think overall favorite has to be Monsters. It was just awesome. It was so cool.
So since we're known for our board game reviews, we want to point out two games in particular that we have already featured on the channel that I would say are kind of inspired or could have been inspired by Epic based on the different lands.
Or once you've came back home and you
need because I want to tell you, this game, Horrified,
it's going to hit the table.
The very first time that I saw the Dark Universe stuff, I thought, I want to play Horrified again. This is a really classic Like I said, you can check it out on our channel.
It's available at Target, so you can easily find it. It's
a co-op game. It's got all of the classic monsters on there, and each one has their own unique
There's the
thing.
Burning Blade.
Yeah.
Right on cover.
They have their own unique thing you got to do, like Dracula, you've got to destroy his coffins. Frankenstein's monsters and the Bride, you've got to get them together. You do have the creature from the Black Lagoon, you've got the mummy on there, and you do have the Invisible Man in here. So one of the few probably horror games where you're going to find all of that.
Yeah.
But like I said, you can check this out on our channel. This is a game that we love. Generally comes out around Halloween-ish, but I'm in the mood to play this right now.
I was going to say, yeah, we're going to definitely play it this weekend. Another game, obviously, Hogwarts Battle. Get this out. You know, have your Harry Potter movie binge. Watch Fantastic Beasts if you never have. I know a lot of people haven't. It's not the best, but like the creatures are cool. The story's a little wonky. At least the first one's good. But get this out. I mean, I love a good deck builder. I love Harry Potter. This is 2 of my favorite things in one. I think it's awesome.
And we do have a whole series on
so
that
good.
because you progress
Yes.
through, I think, 7
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn different spells as you move and you go along, and you get harder opponents to beat. And I mean, I love this game. This is one of my favorite games.
Yeah,
So,
it is very good.
yeah. But yeah, I think that is all we have to say, really. It was an epic trip.
It was very epic.
Hot
It was
and tiring.
But it was worth it.
I mean, we went park open to park close, so we're tired.
Yeah. All right, so that is our review of Universal's Epic Universe, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Thanks for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, click that like and subscribe button. You can also follow us on social media like Facebook
And Twitter at DadBeDaughter.
and if you like what we do and you want to support us, you can visit our Patreon page. So thanks for watching.
Thanks.